Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 15. Folks, we are chugging along. We only have about 5 more episodes to go before the reunion. Thank God. I am going to let you all know right now, if you are a Gizelle or an Ashley fan, this recap might be a little tight for you. And when I say a little bit tight, I'm about to be going in on the both of them, especially Gizelle. Gizelle showed her entire behind in this episode. So if you are a Gizelle fan, I just want to give you that option that you might want to log off because I'm about to be going in on your girl. So I just want to give you guys the heads up right now because I pride myself on being a very considerate reviewer. But if you are a glutton for punishment and you want to hear me drag your fave, then stay. I have some Welch's Sparkling Rosé that's actually non-alcoholic today for this recap. I did a little bit of overindulging in some champagne and other liquors this past weekend, guys, to celebrate this wonderful win of Joe Biden being our new president and Kamala Harris being our new vice president. So the doll was just doing a little bit too much. So I said, let me just bring it back and let me just have some non-alcoholic beverages. Cheers. I recommend this if you don't drink, if you're pregnant, whatever the case may be, if you just want to detox, I definitely recommend this. It's really good. It gives you that feel like you are drinking something. And I put it in a champagne glass too, so. Cheers, guys. Without further ado, let's just jump into the review because this episode, to me, there's a lot to talk about. We start off the episode with Robin. She's at home. It appears that she's packing. Then we see that she's on FaceTime with Wendy, and they bring up the charges that Monique has now filed against Candace. Robin, I might not see it for you, but I have to say when you're right, you're right. I completely agreed with you when you said that Monique was out of her mind to file charges against Candace. Monique started the entire fight. Monique is in the wrong. I'm going to keep saying that review after review after review because Monique is wrong. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say it, but she's wrong and she has absolutely no right or no grounds to file charges. When I tell you guys, I just cannot wait for this reunion. Like, somebody fast forward us to this reunion, please, because I'm really dying to see what she has to say for herself regarding her actions. We move on to the next scene, and that's with Speak of the Devil, Monique. And she is meeting up with Karen for lunch. I thought that this interaction between the both of them was kind of weird. They both seemed like they were walking on eggshells with each other because you know that Monique has received wind from Ashley that Karen had said to her that if she were Candace, she would have pressed charges. So, you know, Monique's like, I just want to get to the bottom of this because, you know, I thought me and Karen were cool the last I checked. So Karen sits down and they start making small talk. And Karen apologizes for not showing up to her Not for Lazy Moms event. Then she goes into Ashley and this girls trip. She says Ashley wanted to invite you to the girls trip to Portugal. And then she doesn't really finish the sentence. And then Monique is like, well, you know, it's fine. I'm just so busy. It's for the best. I was like, girl, it's for the best because you were not invited. And rightfully so. So then Monique asks Karen the $64 million question, the elephant in the room. She says, Karen, did you say that you would have pressed charges too? Because that's what Ashley told me. So Karen, of course, she likes to deflect or not really answer the question. She makes a joke of it. And she's like, well, you know, I'm not a fighter. So if this had happened to me, I would have pressed charges because, you know, I don't fight. And Monique laughs it off and she says, well, Karen, that wouldn't have happened with you because you don't egg people on. You all, when I tell you I was this close to throwing my remote at the TV when Monique said that. In what world, Monique, did Candace egg you on? Let me stop you right there, Monique. This wasn't a fight. This was an attack. This was an assault. You attacked this girl for no reason. If we're gonna keep it a buck, you honestly should have had this smoke for Gizelle, Charisse, and your ex-friend Gigi, who went around spreading the rumors about the paternity of your son and the rumors about you cheating on your husband with the trainer. Candace had no part in that. She was defending you when the whole thing went down off camera. So for you to say that she egged you on, she didn't egg you on. You wanted to attack her because you looked at her as the weakest link. You looked at her as the one who you can just pick on, because they all look at Candace like that for some reason. But I've already addressed that in other videos of why I believe that's so. She did not egg you on. This show is about shading people. Y'all are supposed to be getting into these arguments, poking fun at each other, light, fun, shade, roasting, dragging, reading. If you cannot keep up with that, if you can't keep up with the verbal sparring, then you need to join Love and Hip Hop or the Bad Girls Club. Period. I'm really so sick and tired of Monique. I really am. Like, I can't even look at her on my screen anymore. That's how bad it's gotten when I watch this show. It's just so aggravating. You guys, the way I'm going to be so happy when this show is finally off of our screens, like, I'm going to be throwing the biggest party. I told y'all time and time again, please expect to see a bottle of Dom Perignon, because the way I'm just going to be rejoicing when these women are no longer on our screens, because it's just been a whole season of aggravation and irritation this entire time, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing some women get a pass for poor behavior, and I'm sick of seeing this one refuse to acknowledge that she's in the wrong. She started this whole entire thing, and that the people that she should have had the smoke for, she's let them slide. I'm sick of it. I'm at my wits' end. I don't even want to keep talking about this fight, but we have to keep talking about it because that's all they keep bringing up. It's annoying. So the next scene is Ashley, and she's with Michael and baby Dean. Michael's playing with the baby, he's bouncing him on his lap, and they're talking. She's packing for Portugal, and she's running through, I guess, the schedule, because she's saying, like, well, he eats at this time, he sleeps at this time, my friend Eve is going to come by to help out and watch him. So then Ashley says, while I'm away, are you going to behave? And Michael already just looks guilty. He already turns bright red when she says that. I'm like, Ashley, I don't know why you're asking this man if he's going to behave, because he's not. He's going to have 5 days without you. If you don't think he's going to drop that baby off with the nanny and go on about his business to, cruise the streets for another woman, stop it. Stop playing yourself. And this episode, I really saw how delusional you are, because you keep making excuses for this man and his indiscretions. This cast, I have to say, not only are they the worst dressed franchise, these are also the most, I think, delusional women on this screen. I have to say, I think this is the most delusional cast out of all the Housewives franchises. And I watch all the franchises, but I have to say that Potomac takes the cake when it comes to delusions. Because it's craziness. I mean, Ashley was talking stupid this entire episode regarding her marriage to Michael. So then she brings up the fact that Monique won't be coming on the girls' trip, and how she wanted to invite her, but she feels bad about it. But, she just can't do it because, she knows that all the other girls probably would not have gone on the trip. And even Michael is like, well, Monique did something wrong, so she kind of has to face the consequences for her actions. So then we find out in this scene that not only is Ashley loyal to the soil when it comes to Monique, but we find out that Monique asked her to write a statement against Candace. And that Ashley not only did it, but she brought up the whole butter knife incident from last season. Now, Ashley, I'm going to have to drag you again. Because what does that butter knife situation have to do with this whole fight that Monique started? Ashley is so funny to me because you act like we can't see through your BS. You clearly do not like Candace. And you are reveling and you are taking much joy in the fact that you want to see Candace go down and you want these charges against Monique dropped. Then we find out that you and Monique are really super close and that you had confided in her about you and Michael being open. And that not only did Monique keep the secret, but when you revealed it to the other ladies, she was faking surprise. I said, this shows me that there's something between those two. Something in the milk isn't clean about this newfound best friendship. I just don't buy it. You kept saying they really helped me out. Monique and Chris really helped me out when Michael was going through, the court stuff because with the butt grabbing thing from last season. And yeah, they probably deleted the tapes because I refuse to believe that a woman who has a 10,000 square foot home and has cameras from here to Timbuktu now all of a sudden doesn't have the cameras on for that day when you had 200 people over at your house for a baby shower. Girl, save it. You and Monique are in cahoots together, and I won't be surprised to find out if later on down the line that you all are swinging together. And you're all keeping each other's secrets because you're all down with the get down. Something in the milk ain't clean with them. It's not. And I don't believe that this is a true friendship. It's a friendship of convenience. It's a friendship because they're all holding each other's secrets. Best believe when they fall out again, because Ashley and Monique will fall out again, trust me, it's all going to come out in the wash. They're all going to be revealing all of their secrets. Just watch. Just watch. Mark my words on it. You can bookmark this video and come back to it when we're on season 6 and season 7 and season 8. It's going to happen. So the big day finally arrives. They are on their way to Portugal, honey. Yes. I said it would have been dope had they started playing Portuguese Love by Tina Marie. If you know me on Twitter, you know that is one of my favorite songs. I'll be singing down on the timeline with that song, honey. That's my song. But I digress. It was so funny when they were showing who was sitting next to who on the plane, and Karen and Wendy were sitting next to each other. And Karen was just like, are you kidding me? And even Wendy was looking like, wait, what? How did this happen? So then we see, Gizelle and Robin are sitting together, and I guess Candace and Ashley were sitting together. And it was just so funny to me. I said, I know Robin and Gizelle were thrilled to finally be in first class, because Lord knows the last time they've been in first class, child. I told you I'm going to be dragging Miss Gizelle this entire recap, so stay tuned because I'm just getting started. So 19 hours later, I said, oh my goodness, that's a long flight. But 19 hours later, they finally settle in Portugal, honey. And they are staying at the Savoy Palace. The hotel is absolutely gorgeous. I said stunning. Their suites were all stunning, just gorgeous. And it was so cool. They had like edible lipstick. It was like chocolate, and they had like a chocolate shoe in each of the rooms. I said, oh, just beautiful, just stunning. While they're getting ready for dinner, we all see them, FaceTiming their men, and they're all, just talking and showing off the suite, showing off the view. And then finally it is dinner time. Can I tell you something? Why can't these ladies get it together with the clothes? I mean, when they all gathered around the table at the restaurant, I was like, are you kidding me? You went to Portugal and you packed that? I said, Gizelle, you went to Portugal and you're telling me you packed that red blouse and those camo pants and what was that headband? I was just kind of like, girl.
If you know you're not fab, stop coming out like, bitch, like you that girl. You not fab like that to be doing all of that. Learn your place, earn your spot.
Like, you've been on this show for 5 seasons. You guys are still the lowest paid franchise, but your pay is way more than it was season 1 and season 2. You're telling me you can't put that few $100,000 to some use and go to Neiman Marcus or Saks and make something, do what it do? I said these outfits are just too bad for you all to have been on this show for so long. But again, I digress. So they're all at the table, you know, ordering, and they want to order shots, and they're just, you know, making jokes, having a key. And I'm like, okay, finally, you know, it's not a tense dinner. But oh, I spoke too soon, child, because the conversation flipped just like that. We have Wendy address Karen for the 63rd,000th time about the degree fight. Now, Wendy, I just started liking you. Wendy, I thought I could hold a grudge. I thought I could, you know, not let stuff go. But I think that you have me beat, because even I was like, you've got to let this go. She brings up the whole degree thing, and she says, Karen, here's a fun fact about me. When my parents moved to this country, my dad worked at a fast food restaurant, and when he was promoted to manager, he was so happy and he was crying, and he was just so happy that he said he wanted to name his daughter after the restaurant. And so that's why he named me Wendy. You know, I'm named after the fast food chain Wendy's. So they all are like, you know, laughing and chuckling, and Wendy's, you know, Wendy was laughing, and Karen was just saying like, oh, you know, Wendy, thank you for sharing that with me. You know, that's very sweet of you. So you think that it's going to be, you know, that's the end of it. No. So Wendy and Karen get into it again, and Wendy says, I'm buttoning this whole thing up. Karen is like, okay, girl, like whatever. So when they finish squabbling, Gizelle goes around the table, child, because you know Gizelle just loves to be messy. She goes around asking everybody about their men and how their marriages are doing. She asks Ashley how Michael and her are doing. Then she turns her attention to Miss Karen. She's like, well, Karen, how are you and Ray doing? So Karen is like, you know, we're doing just fine. And then Karen automatically just flips the conversation and says, well, Gizelle, how are you and Jamal doing? Now, Gizelle, this is where I'm about to read you down. Hold on to your wigs, girls, because I'm really about to drag her. Gizelle, the way you got defensive at that table was absolutely asinine. I was shocked. I mean, I already can't stand you. I already think that your attitude is just already messed up. But it's just so funny to me how you are unable to take it when it's you on the hot seat. You love to poke and prod and make fun of other people, when they're going through misfortunes. You love to ask questions of people's marriages and relationships. You love to be messy and gossip and spread stuff around. But when it's you, now you can't take it. Because it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. When Karen asked you, why hasn't she seen Jamal? You know, why don't you bring him around? Why don't you talk about him? All you had to say was just, you know what? You're right, Karen. Maybe, you know, I'm going to try to have Jamal come to some more events, but you want to get all defensive with that. He's very busy. He's booked and busy, actually. He has all these business deals. He lives 8 states away. Like, I don't need to bring him around, y'all. Like, that was so uncalled for. That was absolutely uncalled for. It was really giving me guilt, and it was giving me this relationship is fake and it's for a storyline, and none of these girls buy it that we're actually together, so let me get defensive and angry to get them off of my back. If this were anybody else, you would be asking them a ton of questions and be making jokes about it. It's just so funny to me that you are somebody, you can dish it out, but you cannot take it. You're always flapping your gums about somebody else's situation, and your situation is really messed up yourself. You're back with a man who is your ex-husband, who cheated on you, who has a gang of outside children. I'm not even going to say the total number of kids, that because I saw on Google that it's a very high number of kids that he has. And I'm not even going to say it, but it's in the double digits. That's what I saw on the blogs. It's just really crazy to me that you seem to just get away with murder on this show. And Robin told you right when she said, if we're your friends, we should, hear more about Jamal. We should see him at some events. Robin didn't say anything wrong, and you talk about Robin needs to have my back when these girls come for me. That season when you and Robin fall out is going to be so hilarious to me because it's coming soon. It's probably going to come next season or the season after. Robin is getting tired of being your little sidekick. She's tired of being your little flunky, your little gopher. She's getting tired. She's finding some spotlight of her own. She's getting her money back up. She's getting remarried to, the love of her life that she just can't seem to let go. But that's another story for another day. But Robin is leveling up. She's bossing up. And I think that you really can't take it because you've always looked at her as you're just your little sidekick who does what you say. Her life is worse off than yours, or so you thought, because she's coming up. She's about to pass you by, baby, and you can't take it. Gizelle, I'm just really over this. I can be messy. I can say what I want about other people, but they can't come for me. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You don't get to pop your mess, flap your gums, say what you want to people, and think that they can't retaliate and come for you when, your situation's messed up. That's not how it goes. Girl, when I tell you, she really wore me thin in this episode. I mean, wore me thinner than usual. I was too through. Like, I was done. So after that little dust up at the table, they all, break off to go back to their rooms and go get some sleep. We see Robin go to Gizelle's room and she just wants to talk to her and see how she's feeling. And Gizelle is annoyed. And Gizelle's like, girl, you just left me out there to dry. You need to have my back. And Robin politely told her, like, sis, I do have your back, but it's the truth. Like, we're friends. Why don't we hear about Jamal? Why don't we see him? Like, why? And that's a fair question to ask anybody, friend or not. I was really glad that Robin, stood up for herself and was not gonna just go with Gizelle's BS. Keep an eye on their friendship because, like I said a few minutes ago, they are going to be headed down a path very soon. That whole dynamic where Gizelle is top dog and Robin is second fiddle, that's not going to fly for much longer. So mark my words, those two will be on the out soon and they'll be airing each other's dirty laundry out. Just watch. Oh, just watch, honey. Those tables always turn, so watch out for the dissolution of their friendship because it's coming. So next we see Ashley and she is getting ready for bed. She is calling Michael. She wants to see where he's at because he was supposed to be home putting the baby to sleep. So she calls Michael. He doesn't pick up. She calls again. He's like not picking up. She calls again and it's her friend Eve who's watching the baby. And she's like, is Michael there? Where's he at? And Eve's like, no, he's not home yet. And like Dean is really sleepy. So then she's kind of getting alarmed and she's like, okay, I'm gonna call him back again. I have to call him and see where he's at. She finally gets in touch with Michael and he's like, hey babe, like I'm on my way home. I was in a meeting. Ashley starts freaking out and she's like, where were you? Like Dean really, needs to see you. He needs to sleep. He's really sleepy. He's supposed to be in bed by now. And like, where are you? And so Michael gets an attitude with her and he's like, I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore. And I died because he was like, I just can't have you, I don't like you molesting me like this. I was like, oh my gosh, Michael, not using that word to say that she's bothering you. He hangs up the phone on her and Ashley is in a puddle of tears and she starts crying and she's like, I just want to go home. And she's looking at a picture of the baby and she is just too through. Ashley, just stop it. Like, I was just cracking up, Michael saying, oh yeah, I had a late night meeting. He didn't have a late night meeting. He was probably at a happy hour with some other woman and he was just upset because you were blowing up that phone too. So he said, let me just get on home for this woman have a heart attack. Ashley, like I've said before, how you start is how you finish. You probably sold yourself to this man like you were a good time, fun chick who was down with threesomes, down for whatever. You're not changing anybody. You're not changing that man. That man wanted what he wanted, and what he wanted was a woman who was down for his rendezvous with other women, and you have to deal with it. So you trying to keep tabs on him and trying to call him every minute, it's not going to stop. Like, people need to get it through their head. If somebody is going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. It doesn't matter if you call them every minute. It doesn't matter if you have a tracker on them. Like, what won't you get through your head? Stop getting into arrangements thinking that you are going to change somebody. You're not changing anybody. Especially not a grown man. You're not changing that man. He is going to continue to cheat. And either you're going to deal with it or you're going to leave. You already added a post-nup where you're about to get half of his assets, so you might as well just divorce him, because obviously this marriage is just so taxing on you. I'm just not here for the stupidity. I'm really not. I'm really tired of seeing her and him. I'm tired of them talking about this sham of a marriage. I really am. And then come to find out you're pregnant by him a second time now. You guys are expecting a second child. I'm like, girl, please stop playing in our faces. Please. As you guys can clearly see, I am tired of like almost all these ladies on this cast. I truly am. So it's day 2 of their trip in Portugal. And I mean, the views were just so beautiful when you saw it in the daytime. We see Ashley, she's out on the balcony of her suite. She's like meditating. Then we see Candace, she's writing affirmations for herself. And she's just talking about, she doesn't want to talk about the fight. She doesn't want to think about the fight. She just wants to have fun on this trip and enjoy herself. And then we see Karen and Ashley. Karen comes to Ashley's room and she's like, oh my gosh, Ashley, you got this big penthouse suite. Like, this is living. And Ashley's suite was absolutely gorgeous. I was like, wow, like, you did that. Like, you did that, honey. Because the rooms for all of them were just stunning. So Karen and Ashley start talking. They're talking about the dinner from last night. And Ashley brings up Karen's delivery when she addressed Gizelle about Jamal and Gizelle. And Ashley was like, your delivery was kind of harsh, and I can see why Gizelle got really defensive. And Karen made a very good point. Like I said earlier, Gizelle pokes and prods and is always messy and loves to make fun of other people's situations, but she can't take it when it's her, when she's on the hot seat. And that's just not fair. That's not how it goes. You can't be allowed to say what you want and then think that other people can't, get on you when it's your turn to be called out on something. That's just not how it works. So then Karen brings up Ashley's marriage. She's like, are you and Michael good? How are you doing? Because just a month ago, you were really sad. And Ashley's like, I'm good. I got a little bit teary-eyed last night because I was trying to call Michael and I couldn't reach him. I just missed my baby. And then Karen in her confessional is like, now girl, stop it. Like, who are you trying to fool? Like, there's no way that should have sent you in a tailspin where you're crying and wanting to go home. There's issues in that marriage. Like, you were obviously hurt by Michael stepping out on you a few months ago, and you don't want to address it. You just want to suppress those feelings, but you're obviously in pain. And Karen hit the nail on the head. Karen is right. Ashley is in denial about how she feels. We can all see it, Ashley. We can all see it. So Ashley tells all the ladies to get ready for the day because they are going to market. So you see them getting into the cable cars because they are on their way to market and then on their way to have some lunch. And they are split up into 2 groups. You see Candace, Karen, and Robin, and then Wendy, Ashley, and Gizelle. Robin brings up Ashley and Michael's marriage. And then she brings up the parallels of Ashley and Michael's marriage to her marriage when she was married to Juan. And she talks about how when she had given birth to, I guess, their firstborn or whatever, that Juan got stupid and he was dipping it and doing it with other women and she would catch him. And it was really sad because she said that since she was just so focused on taking care of the kids, that she was just so tired. She didn't really, not that she didn't care, but she didn't like have the energy to even like address him about the cheating. And I was like, girl, like that was kind of sad to hear. But you know, my thoughts on cheating, I'm very kind of black and white with that. I'm of the belief that you cheat on me once and I'm out. You know, shout out to everybody. I had fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
Nah, I forgot. PF. I'm out this bitch.
Told me to be good.
I can't do it. I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna take half, and that's gonna be it. But you know, they were talking about that, and I said, "Oh, Robin," I said, "You know, I really hope that Juan doesn't cheat on you again, because you guys know that they are back together again, about to get married again." So I'm just like, God bless that union, child. They finally get out of the cable cars, and it was so funny because since they were so high up in the air, Candace felt dizzy. She was like, "Oh my gosh, like why do I feel so dizzy?" Like, you know, that was, I thought that was funny. So they go and they have some lunch. Ashley excuses herself from the table because she has to pump some milk for the baby. And she comes back and she had like the whole pump. And they were all kind of like, "Girl, what are you doing?" She's like, "It's legal here. It's okay." So they're just enjoying some lunch. And Wendy is at it again. Wendy, this had better be your last time bringing up your degrees. This better be your last time bringing up this silly spat with Karen. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear this anymore. It's ridiculous at this point. Stop beating a dead horse. This is coming from somebody who knows how to bring something up again and again and again. Even I was tired, like, girl, it's not that deep. Stop begging for Karen's approval. It does not matter what she thinks. Stop this. You're starting to look crazy. Stop. You even said it yourself at dinner that you had buttoned the conversation up. It was dead. You were done with it. Now you're going to bring it back up again? You look really crazy, Wendy. I was just in shock. So Wendy brings it up again, and Karen apologizes to her and is like, "Look, if you were offended, I'm sorry. That wasn't my intention. Can we have some peace up in here, please? Because I don't want to talk about this anymore. This is ridiculous." So then Candace brings up the whole incident at dinner with Gizelle about Jamal and how come they don't see, you know, Jamal, you know, around the group. And Karen and Gizelle get into it again. And while they get back into it again, Karen called Gizelle Satan in the middle of their little argument. And I started cracking up. I said, "Karen, you're accurate." Honey, that woman acts like the devil. My goodness. She's so messy. So Gizelle is upset and she ends up FaceTiming Jamal at the table. And she's like, you know, "Hey, Jamal, say hey to all my friends." They'll go, "Hey, Jamal, hey, Jamal. Hey, Jamal, how's it going?" And he's like, "Oh, hey." And it was kind of like, that was such a weak attempt to get them off of your back, Gizelle. I said, girl, y'all, I told you guys this several times. I just do not believe that there is any chemistry or love between Gizelle and Jamal. With Jamal and Gizelle, all I see is, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. That's it, and that's all. This is an arrangement between the both of them so that they can both step their money up, so she doesn't have to bother him about those late alimony payments and child support payments, and he can garner a little bit more fame for himself. And I just don't believe that this is a true romance. I do not. This is fake for TV and to secure her spot for a storyline, because season 6, they're probably going to get re-engaged again like Robin and Juan. And then season 7, it'll be her and Jamal either getting married or breaking up again. And so that will secure a storyline for her either way. I see through the BS. because Gizelle knows that she's hanging on by a thread, and her just being the instigator of the show isn't going to carry her any more seasons, so she's having to step it up. So the episode ends with Karen and Gizelle still going at it, and we see a to be continued on our screens. I was just kind of like, woo, child. Ready for this season to be over. I'm ready for the reunion. Y'all, that is the end of this recap. You already know what time it is. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And you all know that Salt Lake City is going to be here on Wednesday. So I will see you all in 2 days for SLC. I have even more tea for you guys about that cast and that franchise. We're in for a treat. Those women are on a whole other level, okay? So we are going to see some drama that we have never seen before. If you haven't seen my video where I'm spilling the tea about Mary Cosby, because her uncle gave me a call a month ago and spilled all the tea about her, please make sure to go check it out. Get yourself prepared, guys. SLC is here, and I cannot wait to talk about it and get your opinions on it too. So without further ado, I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.